And we're live. Yes, the volume's working. Okay, good. Welcome back, YouTubers, OpenFOAMers, everyone welcome. Today's video we're gonna talk about how further to clean up our Git history and all the backlog of stuff. As we saw, the Git file was pretty big, right? The thin pipe flow file was pretty big. All right, so as you saw just now, the pipe flow file was pretty big. We saw that, hey, if you type the dush command, we have a 3.7 gigabytes worth of stuff that we want to get rid of. Now, of course, there are easy ways to get rid of it, and there's a brute force way, which so-called is more easy, and then there's a more surgical way. I'm going to talk more about the surgical way, because the brute force way, I mean, you don't really need a whole video explaining how to do it. Okay, so, but anyway, just for your reference, the brute force way is to do the following. If you look at this Stack Overflow, this guy says basically, the idea is to remove the .git directory completely and reinitiate a new, init the Git repository, initialize the Git repository, and add and commit. Then force everything up onto the GitHub. That's what it's doing. So what is he talking about? Okay, ls a to list all files including the hidden file. So usually the big file is in this .git folder. So what you want to do is just remove everything and then reinitialize, redo the whole Git thing, so that the whole history is being erased along with every other setting and everything else. So that's one of the ways you can get rid of, just get rid of everything, all the 3.7 gigabytes of files in there. So that's what one suggestion is. You can do that, but I prefer to do it a little more surgically. I mean, you learn more from it, and you don't delete stuff that you don't want to delete. Alright, so anyway, all these links I'll put it in the description below. Do remember, description is description is let's see, description is over here, just below the video. Do take a look once this thing is up. Let's see, let's go back here, and I mean, just for your own practice, I'd like to actually give you a repository, okay, and give you a repository just so that you can practice your cleaning skills, so to speak, how to clean up a new GitHub. Alright, so what I can do is this. I'm going to clone into I'm going to clone this thin pipe flow snappy hex mesh. Alright, so I'm going to make a clone of it, and I'm going to give you a repository to practice on. So that's so I go to thin pipe flow snappy hex mesh, and what I can do is I just do a git remote. Okay, so that, okay, not git remote. All right, sorry, wrong command. It's called cat.git and origin. Okay, and what does this do? This actually prints out, not git origin, git config. Yeah, this actually prints out your settings within the Git folder. Of course, you have a configuration folder, and from there you can actually get the URL of the repository. So anyway, that's just for info. I'm going to copy this. For Windows subsystem, for Linux users, you might have a slightly different method of doing this, especially using a right click to paste, but shouldn't be too tough to copy and paste. I should have gone through this many times before. Okay, so let's clone it here. Okay, or rather, let me go to my other terminal, mount 200 gigabyte, and git clone. Okay, I'm gonna Control Shift V to paste in Linux to do it. So it's going to do a clone. What I'm going to do is I'm going to upload this to sort of a new directory. I'm going to show you how to do that in a little bit. Alright, so now what then can we do to help us, you know, get rid of the Git history, right? So let's go to Thin Plateful Snappy Hex Mesh. So we talk about removing the so we talked about moving the removing this, what do you call that, histories, right? So if we do a git log, we will be able to see, you know, all the history over here. We'll have an initial commit as we saw before, and then this one where we say we erase history to save some space. Or if we take a look at git log one line, we will just see these two commits here. So by right, what we can do is to after we clean everything up, so called the history, the logic next is to start dealing with the .git file, right? So that's the logic we go. We have to clear the .git file, okay, which is a 3.7 gigs file, so LSA, and that's the .git file you see there. Alright, this is the file we want to clean up. We're not going to remove everything, but we try and use some utilities. So one of the main utilities you're going to use is called the garbage cleaner, or git GC. GC stands for garbage cleaner. You would there are some things in the links. You will see many people use a git garbage cleaner. Okay, so I mean the description is pretty straightforward. The idea is to clean garbage. So what is garbage in this case? It's stuff that is no longer, I mean, if there is stuff in the .git file, the .git folder, that it's, you know, not relevant anymore, we should be able to get rid of it. So we are supposed to run git garbage cleaner. It's supposed to go through everything inside your git file, and ideally you want it to clean everything out, right? So that's the idea of git garbage cleaner. So we have to wait for a while for this thing to work. Okay. Let me go, try and fast forward this process. Okay, now garbage cleaner has been run, and well, logically speaking, we should be able to get rid of all the files. Unfortunately, the 3.7 gigs are still there. So what is actually going on here? Well, there are a number of other things we need to do. Okay, there are a number of other things that we need to do. There's another history tracking tool called the reference logs that we need to clear up. Okay, so what am I talking about here? Let's go to git reflog. So what do we see here? We see everything from the clone, okay, to every single checkout that we do. Okay, take a look at all of this. This is every single bit of change that is being tracked. And once you know this reference log is tracking all these changes, it would include the changes that comprise of these 3.7 gigabytes. So okay, what you want to do is to get rid of this reflog. Okay, reference log. So the way that it's being done, or the way to do it, is like so. Okay, there's this one. It says git reflog expire. Means basically it's just deleting all the reference logs. Expire now all. Okay, so git reflog, and if you forget things, you can just press the help button. It will show you everything that you need to do. It will show you, okay, there's an expire button. See, git reflog expire. Then it tells you, the stuff is over here. Give reflog expire. So you can add this flag called expire equals time. Time you can put it as now, and of course you can give you can process all the reflogs. So these are the options for expire. That's why he's using the expire now and all flags here. So you want to process everything. Okay, so let's do a git reflog expire. Okay, expire, and you specifically say I want to expire every single log file now, and we're going to do it to all our files. Okay, so let's do a garbage cleaner again. And you're going to wait a while, but of course I'll wait for this thing to clone. I'll be back. Let's fast forward this process. Not going to wait. Okay, so now this process is finished, and let's see whether we still have our files there. And again, it's still 3.7 gigabytes. So what's going on here? Well, the other thing is that with this specific repository, this Git repository is actually tracking. It's being connected to the repository on GitHub. So when it's connected to the repository on GitHub, it's going to track all the history that that goes on between this local Git repository, this local Git folder, and the folder you have on GitHub. So what do we need to do now? We need to disconnect this local repository from the GitHub repository. So how do we go about doing that? And anyway, I know it's quite a number of commands to learn, but do bear with me. It will be helpful. Okay, so the way to disconnect is to just type git remote. Alright, git remote will actually just list all the remotes. Okay, the remotes are which repositories are you connected to on the cloud. So what we have here is origin. Okay, origin is where the GitHub repository we have on cloud, and we'll need to disconnect from that. So how do we do it? We actually do a git remote, and we kind of remove this origin. Okay, if you're not sure, you can always do git remote and help. And here it will say there's under Synopsis, it says git remote add git remote rename, and then it says git remote remove. So git remote remove is going to get rid of whatever remote, or rather the so-called connection that we are talking about. So I've connected this to my repository on GitHub, so I need to remove that. Alright, so let's do a remove, and we have to type the name. So if you're not sure what the name is, just type git remote. It will show you the names of all the remotes, and remotes are again the cloud-based repositories. Okay, cloud-based repositories that you are being connected to. So git remote remove, and then you just type origin. Okay, so now this repository is just standing alone by itself on this computer. So there's nothing connecting it to the repository online. So if I do a git push here, there's nothing. We can't push anything, because Git doesn't know where to push it to, because we just removed the remote. So now that we disconnect, we can do a git garbage cleaner again to see what happens. I'm going to fast forward this process because garbage cleaner might take a while. Okay, so we just ran garbage cleaner here, and what happens? Okay, I kind of paused and then restarted, but the outcome is still the same. You just run the git garbage cleaner, and you type dush. What happens? Okay, so we have a number of files that are pruned, because we remove some of the files that we don't really need anymore. Okay, however, there's still 2.6 gigabytes of files there. So garbage cleaner is effective, but it's not doing everything. So what do you need to do here? So the next thing we need to try is to do this thing called prune all. Okay, prune, you're going to prune everything. Okay, so there are these two lines of code we need to do. One is git reflog expire, because we still have a git reflog. Okay, we already did the expiration of that, so we can do a git gc garbage cleaner, and we need to do a pruning of everything. Why are we doing that? Because maybe there are lots of commits or lots of branches, lots more history that you need to clean everything up. Okay, there's a lot of history, git history that we need to do. So yeah, there's pruning means you got to clear out every single thing that's not being referred to. So if you want to do it more thoroughly, you have to use this prune command. Okay, so doing that, what happens? 36 megabytes, see? So so that actually just removes every single bit of this 2.6 gigabytes. Okay, and that actually gets you, so-called quite okay with garbage cleaning. So whatever is let's see, git status, on the master branch, git log, there are only 2 logs there. So we can see that we can see what this git garbage cleaner and cleaning up this git reflog is supposed to do. Okay, there's no git reflog now because we haven't made any new changes since then. So all these are histories that we did away with. So remember, in this so-called git, there's a lot of content again. I kind of went through them pretty quickly, but the idea is to do a reset so that we can get rid of our commit history. So we have a commit history to get rid of, and then we have a reflog history to get rid of. Then we can start running this garbage cleaner so as to delete all the redundant files. Of course, we needed to disconnect this repository here from the repository in the cloud on GitHub in order to do it. If not, there'll be some history and changes that still need to be tracked. Okay, so they need to be tracked, so we need to disconnect it, and once we are done connecting it, we can upload all our necessary changes back onto GitHub. Okay, so you can try this. I believe it's still cloning the thing, so we'll have to wait for that. So I'll just fast forward this, and once this thing is done, I'll make a new repo, put it in the link description below, and I'll continue with this process of pushing these changes onto GitHub so as to ensure that all the history that you don't want to be there is not there. Okay, so looks like this is done. Let me get this going. Okay, so what do we need to do here? You can go to the thin pipe flow snappy hex mesh. So now I need to go to do check out the remotes. Alright, so only origin is here. Okay, so what I want to do now is to add a new remote. Okay, what's this new remote? It is this one. So I call it the practicing the git cleanup. So remote origin 2. Okay, then I'm going to paste this here. Alright. Oh, so I forgot to type the add. Remote add origin 2 and paste. Okay, so git remote, I should have origin and origin 2. So origin 2 is this new repository I want to push these things up to. So I already have this one, so I just put git push u origin 2 master, git push u origin 2 master. Okay, so that will push everything from this repository up to a new one. Alright, you'll push everything up, and you'll probably take another long while. Okay, so you should be able to practice it on your own. So it should start uploading files already. So I'll let it do that. But now I have this one, which we see, now it's 36 megabytes. Okay, everything has been cleaned up as was what we intended. Okay, so next step is of course to push everything up to the to this, the cloud. Okay, the correct repository. So what we need to do is, again, we need to add the origin. Okay, add origin, the remote, sorry. So we go to thin pipe flow snappy hex mesh. Okay, so yeah, I need the URL. So this is the URL we'll need to do. Okay, so yeah, git remote add origin, and we'll add this back here. Okay, so what then we need to do? Git push, right? So it tells us you're supposed to set upstream, right? It doesn't know where to push it to, so you have to set the upstream to origin. So let's do git push set upstream, and that's basically what the -u function actually does. We can actually just put the -u to over here. So this -u, this flag -u is basically set upstream. All right, but I'll just do set upstream here because it's clearer what it is. Okay, let's do the set upstream command, and we go origin master. Okay, now we're gonna try that and see what happens. Alright, so it tells us, okay, we failed to push some references up. Why is that? Because now we have actually, in terms of commits, we are so-called newer. I mean, Git thinks that we are newer than this repository over here. So because what do I mean by newer? Because this repository on GitHub, it has a longer history than what we have over here. Okay, what we have locally, we kind of deleted the whole history and all the files associated with it. So GitHub thinks that, okay, we are trying to push older updates onto GitHub. So that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to delete everything. Okay, delete all the history. So what we need to do instead is to just git push set upstream. We need to put a force flag. -f is for force. Okay, if I can make a syntax error, it should show up pretty quickly, but it seems to be working. It's 91 files of less than a few hundreds of megabytes. So yeah, good. What do we then have here? We can reload, and we'll see that all our commit history is erased from 36 commits to 2 commits. So that's how we are doing this thing. That's how we are dealing with this. And of course, I will have this other repository for you to clone, and then you can try setting up your own repositories on Git to see whether whether you can practice this cleaning up skills. Okay, it's quite important for measuring. Okay, I shouldn't be taking too long. That's my timer. That my video is getting too long, but I'm about to finish. So yeah, that's how we're supposed to. That's how we can actually clean up our commit history, and still preserve the files that we need to. Okay, so thanks for watching. I'll see you guys again. Bye bye.